and beginning with Moses and all the prophets, he explained to them what was said in all the scriptures concerning himself.
Shalom, children. Today we are going to be taking a deeper look at this week's Torah portion to see where it speaks of Yeshua HaMashiach. We are in the book of Bereshit. The parashah this week is called Lech Lecha, which means go forth. As we study this portion together, we will learn Lech Lecha means much more than going forth. Let's hear a summary of the parashat. We are introduced to a man named Avram. Elohim calls Avram out of his father's house to a land where Adonai will show him. Elohim tells Avram he will become a great nation, that through him all the world will be blessed. Avram, his wife Sarai, and his nephew Lot begin their journey to Canaan. They stop at several camps on the way: Haran, Shechem, the Negev, Moreh, and Mamre. A famine forces Avram and Sarai to journey to Mitzrayim for some time. Avram moves back to Canaan, where he and his nephew Lot separate. Lot settles in the city of Sodom. The city is overtaken by 4 kings who kidnap Lot and take him away. Avram goes on a rescue mission with 318 armed men and successfully rescues Lot and brings everything that was taken, including people and gold, back home to Sodom. Avram tells the king of Sodom he does not want any payment as reward for his act. Melchizedek, the king of Salem, comes out to meet Avram with bread and wine. He blesses him. Yahweh then makes a covenant with Avram, telling him his descendants will be as numerous as the stars in the heavenlies. Elohim causes Avram to sleep, whilst he passes through the pieces of animals as part of the covenant promise. 10 years after arriving in the land, Avram and Sarai still do not have any descendants. A son named Ishmael is then born to Avram and Hagar, who is Sarai's maidservant. 13 years later, Yahweh changes Avram's name to Avraham, meaning father of multitudes. Yahweh also changes Sarai's name to Sarah, which means princess. They are then told a son will be born to them, whom they shall call Yitzhak. Yeshua said, "If you believed Moshe, you would believe me, because he wrote about me." So let's dig a bit deeper to see if we can find Yeshua in the scriptures. Our parashat begins today with Avram being called by Elohim to leave his family and go. Now you may be thinking that sounds a bit harsh to ask someone to leave their mother and father and all that is familiar to them. Not to mention Avram didn't even know where he was going to go. Yehoshua helps us to understand a bit more. He wrote, Terah, the father of Abraham, served other gods. You see, Elohim was going to make a covenant with Abraham, that is, a set of promises. But first, Abraham had to leave all the false idol worship of his father's house behind. If we want Yahweh to be our Elohim, there is a way we need to walk in order for us to be called his people. He doesn't want us claiming to be in covenant with him and then go about doing just as we please, like hurting others, lying, stealing. No, that would not bring glory to his name at all. And in the same way, when Yeshua called his taught ones to follow him, they too had to be willing to leave their jobs and even their family so they could spend time with the Master, whilst he taught them how to walk in the way. Yeshua told them, "Let your light shine before others, that they may see your good deeds and glorify your Father in heaven." What is interesting is that it was Yahweh who called Avram, just like it was Yahweh who brought the animals to the ark built by Noah. And likewise with Yeshua and the taught ones, he said, "You did not choose me, but I chose you and appointed you, so that you might go and bear fruit." We read in today's parashah, Yahweh made a covenant with Abraham. He promised to give Abraham a family who would inherit the land forever and bless the nations. Abraham and his descendants were to walk righteously as part of the agreement. During the making of this covenant, a special ceremony took place called a blood oath. For this particular blood oath, several animals were to be cut in half. Then the two making the covenant would walk through the middle saying, "If I break my promises of this covenant, I too will have my blood shed." Sadly, the descendants of Abraham did not continue to walk righteously and broke the covenant. So we now ask the question, how is it possible for the descendants of Abraham to live in the eternal kingdom now that they have broken the covenant promises? A prophet named Jeremiah received word from Adonai and told the people, "Behold, the days come, says Adonai, that I will make a Hadah covenant, that is, a renewed covenant, with the house of Israel and with the house of Judah. I will put my law in their inward parts and write it on their hearts. I will be their Elohim, and they shall be my people." For the blood oath to be fulfilled, it requires someone offering to die in our place, who has never broken the covenant, that is, the instructions from Adonai. The disciple Yochanan wrote, "Yeshua was made known to us to take away our sins, and he never broke the Torah instructions." Yeshua died in the place of those who had broken the covenant. Now the Torah could be written onto the heart, just as Jeremiah prophesied. Yeshua renewed the covenant with the children of Abraham when he and the taught ones shared their final meal together. Do you remember what happened? It was on the evening he was arrested and then later crucified. When he broke the bread and gave the blessing, he explained to the taught ones the bread represented his body that was going to be broken, and the wine represented his blood that was going to be poured out. The Pharisees had previously told Yeshua, "Abraham is our father." But Yeshua had answered them, saying, "If you were Abraham's children, you would do the works of Abraham." This tells us they were not Abraham's children, that is, part of the covenant, because they were not walking according to the way Yahweh had instructed. Shaul wrote in his letters to the assembly of believers, "Remember that once you were separated from Mashiach. You were not part of the commonwealth of Israel. You were not part of the covenant of the promise, without hope and without Elohim. But now you are all one in Messiah, according to the covenant made with Abraham." It is my prayer for you, children, that you are able to agree with Shimon Kifar when he said, "You are a chosen generation, a royal priesthood, a holy nation, his own special people, that you may proclaim the praises of him who called you out of darkness into his marvelous light. Well, children, that is the end of our study for today. So we will see you next time, when we search the scriptures together. Shalom.